Welcome to the daily Gerry Anderson podcast, which continues to monitor the ever-rising hysteria surrounding Rory McIlroy's win at the US Open. As always, the presenter and interrupters go down the road less travelled and ask questions that no one else would even think of. You see what I did there? I started the programme at the start. We've never done that before.
No, it's most unusual. It's very... I don't like
usually
it.
started halfway through it. It's good to start at the start and then the people know who they are.
I think he'll be going to the same clinic as you soon.
What's that? What is that barbed remark supposed to mean? It makes no sense to me, but I know there's some horrible meaning behind it.
No.
Come on, what are you saying? Is it a Wayne Rooney thing?
No, not a Wayne Rooney.
Hair.
Believe it or not. That's
What?
the thing.
You're talking about hair again?
Yes, we're talking about hair, yes.
Oh, come on. See how I sensed
Yes.
there's hair involved there? Well, what's the connotation?
Your man.
What man?
Your man.
Man with the bar? What? Who?
No, stop it. Your man will be... He'll be...
What are you trying to say? You're trying to insult me in some way.
I'm not.
Yes,
I'm
you are.
trying to point out to you that Rory McIlroy's going bald.
No, he's not.
He is.
He's not.
I'm telling
He's
you.
not,
he is.
actually,
I'm telling
no.
you he is.
No, he's not.
He is.
No, I'll tell you who's going bald.
I'm telling you, Rory is.
No, he's not. I don't think he is.
Yes.
His
you
father's
see,
got a good thatch.
Eh?
His father's got a good
He has
thatch.
not.
His father has a good
Has
thatch.
not.
His father has a good thatch of white hair.
Hasn't a good thatch.
What do you call it then? He's not. His father's not balding. But I think it's going on too long. It's getting ridiculous now. I know it's great that the wee fella won everything, but it's getting ridiculous.
I know.
Stephen Watson needs to stop.
It has to stop. I didn't watch it last night.
Stephen Watson has to stop asking Rory McIlroy questions that he can't possibly answer. Things like,
What?
How does it feel like to be the most wonderful person in the whole world? You know, you can't answer that. Go and ask me that.
Well, what's it like to be the most one? What's the question again?
What's it like to be... Well, no, I'm not saying he asked this, but these are the type of question he's asking him. What's it like to be the most wonderful person in the whole world who ever lived?
Rory, what's it like to be the most wonderful person in the whole world who ever lived?
I don't know.
Well, Rory, you've won one major. Do you think you can win another?
It's hard to answer that. I think I could, all right. Yeah. But I'm more interested in your earlier question. What's it like to be the most wonderful person in the whole world who ever lived? I can't answer that. No, but you see, the second question, you missed the whole point there. The second question was a legitimate question. The second question, do you think you can win another? That's a fine question.
No, but it's either yes or no.
He can answer that.
No, it's either yes or no.
I know, but he can answer that.
It's a yes or... Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I think I can. Yeah, I
think
or
we say, oh, right.
I think I've got
Rory McIlroy says no.
No, I think I've got it.
You think not? Why not?
Well, I've reached this far. And, I don't know. Well, this is all I ever wanted. And,
do you know that I have a Rory McIlroy story?
Have you? Well, tell me about it.
Oh, I can't.
Go on.
No. Do you know why everyone that you meet now will tell you, oh, I played him, or I did this, or I met him,
Gerry Kelly was on Channel 4 News last night.
I have a Rory McIlroy story. And only Rory, well, very few people will know of it.
Go on, tell me.
But Rory knows about it.
Well,
but he doesn't know I was there. He doesn't know I was involved.
Well, why didn't you tell us what it was?
No, I can't. I can't.
Of course you can.
No, Rory's father was there.
Uh-huh. Is it something that you're ashamed to say?
Oh, I'm not ashamed. I was
blame-free?
Yes, and I was...
Is there something unsavoury about the story?
All I'll tell you this, whenever Rory comes back, and his daddy comes back from America...
Yes.
All you have to say to Rory is, City of Derry Golf Club.
All right. What happened concerning the golf legend is unclear. The presenter is like a terrier in his unyielding search for truth. However, something about Rory's success leads the presenter to ponder the reasons why he himself has never been really popular.
I was the guy...
Who did it?
No, I was the guy that was,
what?
Doing something else. And
you were the guy that was doing something else.
But I can't tell you what it is.
Go on.
No, I can't.
Don't tease the people like that.
I might keep it for Stephen Watson.
Radios are bringing quality first.
Stephen Watson needs new questions, and I might get Stephen to interview me. So you understand? He needs new material. All right. So I'll keep it for Stephen. No way you're keeping your Elvis story.
Yeah, I was going to keep it for Ryan Tubridy then.
Well,
I'm
keeping my Rory McIlroy Rubicon story.
I'm keeping my Elvis Presley story for the first person who comes on TV who I think is good.
Well, I'm keeping my Rory for Stephen.
Did you know, kid, says a man who writes to me, that Mr. Coyle was suffering from a terrible head cold when he sat in for you? Were you?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He told a female caller that he felt like his head was in a bucket. Did you say that?
Yeah.
It would take some bucket to hold that head. Give a lot of Purple Heart and parking space for his old black rally bicycle. But the boy did good, unlike your good self. He says you came across as needy. I shouldn't. Craving the love and affection of the listeners. Were you doing it? You're doing your Jerry Kelly, weren't you?
I was.
You were?
I was.
You tend to be really nice. Oh, good morning, everyone.
I was.
Let's see, well, how could I do that? You see, I know how to... Listen to you coughing. Is that part of your... Oh, dear. Dear. You see, this is one of the things that people have said to me. And do you mind if I be serious for a moment?
You?
Yes.
All right, go on.
You see, it's a very difficult thing to be on the radio. And I don't like talking about this. But you see, there's a certain way that you can make people like you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
People who are, let's put it this way, uncritical. See, a lot of people don't actually hear behind the cracks, and especially on television. Now, you look on television and you see people. Now, we know this. We see people on television who we know are monsters.
Yes.
No, real monsters. And we watch them on television being really, really nice. Now, we can see the monster within. For instance now, Cheryl Cole, every once in a while, if you're observant and you watch this, every once in a while, she's always smiling and she's being nice and she knows what to do and she knows when to cry. But every once in a while, if something happens that she doesn't really plan for, you see this little glint of anger in her eyes. You know what? Real petulance. You see it, and you can actually see it in her eyes. It's a flash of anger. And it goes away then because then she realises that she's being angry and she stops being angry. That's the monster in there. You see the monster, and you know the monster is within. And whenever we see that, because there are certain things that you do to make people like you, and certain people are experts at that. And I've never been able to do it because I've never had the stomach to do what is necessary for people to like me. And that's why I've never been really popular. The presenter looks back over his brief television career and wonders what might have been had he been as false and money-grabbing as the rest of them, now that he has finally become as false and money-grabbing as the rest of them were then.
When you sat in your chair, you had a big slidey chair.
A big slidey chair.
You had a big slidey chair. And every so often you knew when you were drifting away from the interviewee, you were bored with the interviewee.
9 times out of 10.
You used to slide down in the chair. You see, and you would slide down, and the man who was in the wee room, the man who shouted in your ear, he would shout at you, "Sit up straight! Sit up straight!" You see, and what would you do? You would go down further.
You see?
You say, "I'm going down further," and
that's the rebel in me.
Yes.
I can't do it. One of the worst things I ever did, and I never talked to you about this before, and one of the things that haunts me at night, sometimes I lie in bed and I think of this, and I say to myself, now, if I had to do that again, I would never do it. I don't know if I should tell this or not. Well, I think it's okay, because George Best...
Could be a good thing for a book.
It would be a good thing for a book.
Why didn't you keep it?
No.
It's a paragraph.
No.
All right, then go ahead.
George Best did something one time. I thought, well, he did something. Normally George used to do things to annoy people. And whatever it was. And no, he's just being George. He did something and, and people were annoyed. And I can't remember what it was. And then I was interviewing him, you see. And then the people who were involved in the programme, people who are no longer at the BBC, said, I want you to say to George, have you anything to say to the people of Northern Ireland? I said, why would I say that to him? He said, he'll apologise for what he did.
Oh, I think it was the Wogan thing. I think was the thing? It was the thing he appeared in his drunken Wogan.
Well, wherever
I
it
think
was.
It was.
Wherever
it was.
Yeah. See, and I said, I'm not going to do that. I said, for God's sake, it's nothing to do with us, what he does. I said, why should he apologise to people in Northern Ireland? And he said, he wants to. I said, no, he doesn't. As you asked him if it was all right, didn't you? He said, no. I said, but say that to him. Say, have you anything to say to the people of Northern Ireland? I said, I just can't say that out of the blue. He says, well, bring it up. Say things like... say something like, well, the other night you did this and that, how do you feel about that? And then he'll say, oh, no. And then you say to him, have you anything to say to the people of Northern Ireland? I said, I'm not going to say that. I don't care what he says to people of Northern Ireland. People of Northern Ireland are mind their own business, none of their business. Why would he talk to people of Northern Ireland? He said, because maybe he feels as if he let them down. I said, he doesn't even live here. He lives in England. Why should he care what the people of Northern Ireland think about him? I said, I don't care what the people of Northern Ireland think of me. Why should he care? And he's far more famous than I am. He said, well, do it anyway. And know what I did? I done it.
Oh, did you?
I done it.
And what did George say?
He apologised to the people of Northern Ireland. I I felt like saying to him after, George, you know,
That
I'm
wasn't
sorry.
me. Yeah.
It wasn't me. It was another man did that. But I never forgive myself for that. And I actually said to him, I interviewed him one time after that, and I actually apologised to him for saying that to him. And he said, "That's all right, son. Don't worry about it."
Oh, that's all right.
It's before he died, of course.
Yeah, that's good.
See, I'm getting emotional now. See, there's certain things. I mean, you know, you don't know that because you've never done anything in your life to regret. Have you ever done anything that you regret? Come on, you can fess up now. This is fess up time.
I regret stealing Dr. Hart's apples.
It is well known that Coils Interruptus is an accomplished thief. Apples were his specialty.
I only did it the once.
I mean, you caught.
It came out. Someone came out of the house, and we were in the orchard, and we had the apples up our jerseys, right? And we had our jerseys tucked in under our trousers, and the belt round them. You see, and we had the apples inside.
That's a good job. He was a doctor. Didn't know who these. There's Jordan. Oh, there's Jordan stealing the apples, and there's a look at him, Johnny Fartpants.
So we scarpered over the barbed wire, but
Yes.
before we went over. Before we left the orchard, I threw all the apples back. But I still,
As a gesture.
I said, look, I'm not stealing them. I threw the apples back and cleared. But I regret doing that. I regret stealing them.
Yes, okay.
But I didn't take any away. But the intent was there.
Well, regard this as a public confession, and regard this as being, regard yourself as being forgiven.
I wasn't happy within myself because I knew I was breaking
You knew you
the
were
law.
wrong.
I knew I was wrong. I was trespassing.
You knew you were wrong.
And I didn't enjoy stealing the apples. I did
No.
not enjoy it at all.
An act that you should have enjoyed. The fact that you didn't enjoy it meant that inside you were a good person. And you knew that you were a good person and not capable of breaking the law and enjoying it. Many a person can break the law and not enjoy it, but break the law because they feel as if they have to. But most people, when they do break the law, they enjoy it. But you couldn't bring yourself to do that. The same way as I can't bring myself to do the things that are necessary to make the people like me. Even when I go on stage, people don't like me.
No.
Don't be, you agreed too quickly.
No, but you do. You don't try.
I wish you'd tried, hesitated a wee bit before you said no.
I want to cough.
That's a good one. Many of our childhood lives were blighted by want, scurvy, lack of opportunity, parental supervision, or lack of interest from the educational authorities. In spite of suffering from all 5 of the aforementioned, Interruptus and the presenter have survived unembittered and in a position to discuss it.
Tell me this.
Yes.
Did you ever visit a forest?
I wasn't expecting you to say that.
No.
I have visited a forest, yes.
Have you?
And was made welcome by the trees.
I know, but what?
And indeed
you?
was entertained by the bushes.
Did you ever set off for a day?
And deliberately say to myself, I'm going to visit a forest today.
Let's take the kids to the forest.
No, I've never done that.
Neither have I.
Never done that. See, normal people do that kind of thing.
I've never been.
Garden centre Protestants
What do you
that.
do? What do you do?
You go in the forest and you say to the kids, look at that tree, there's a fir. And the child says, what's that fir? And he goes, ha, 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 ha.
Well, what do you do when you go to a forest?
You see, we were reared not properly. Do you understand what I'm saying? We didn't have normal lives. Now, we've never talked about this before.
I used to walk to what we called a forest, but it wasn't a forest. It was just a big clump of trees.
Yeah, but see, we were deprived.
It was our jungle.
Nobody told us anything, and nobody brought us anywhere. Do you see now children go on nature trails?
So what do you do when you go to a forest? Do you bring a picnic basket with you?
We were left to our own devices.
I know.
We were made to make our own fun. We got out mattresses and made slingshots out of them. All the children were being brought to Paris and brought on nature trails and explained. They said, oh, that tree is a fir tree, that's a pine tree. It sheds its nuts. We were never told anything like that. We were hanging around the streets smoking. See, we were deprived, Sean. You don't realise that we were ruined. It's a miracle we got this far.
But I can't see.
The reason why you can't understand why anyone would go to visit a forest, because nobody ever said to you when you were a child, Sean, little Sean, come and look at the forest and let us look and examine the flora.
But do you walk round the forest?
You walk around the forest with a person.
All day long?
Yeah, you look up at stuff.
Or I'm asking you, do you take a picnic basket?
You would take a picnic basket, or you're not going to live off the fruit of the
no,
land.
and just sit there down and
you'd say, oh, look at those mushrooms. I wonder, are they poisonous? No, are they the ones that make you high? That kind of thing. That's what you do. And there's a deciduous tree. There's an evergreen. Look, there's a fern of interest. Thank you for listening. Back tomorrow.